screen copy here. Okay, so playing our parts with the younger generation, intergenerational idea. We want to show our strength onto the younger generations. Recognize the need for younger generations and playing our part to enhance a greater sense of inner security, to bolster connection, a sense of belonging, to address underlying reasons for depression, self-harm, and harm to others, to know more what it takes to know a sense of well-being, acknowledging the part we can play as elders, and to share and plant seeds of life for future generations. So evolving inspiration. So as we gather our thoughts for evolving Cha-Cha-Cha platform, 6-week Conscious Health for All Ages related group program, fodder for our Conscious Healthy Aging platform with an intergenerational touch. So testing the waters, exploration. So just seeing how this goes, say for 6 weeks, and test the waters to see if there's an interest and morphing into an integrated platform or continuing with our conscious aging platform and having select times for the younger populations. So let's consider a little more in that respect. So I've come up with a title for a group program called Self-Care Essentials for a Well-Being Group Program. So it includes self-care essentials for our body, for your body, self-care essentials for your mind, self-care essentials for your emotions, self-care essentials for your living fulfillment. So it's not like end of your life fulfillment, it's actually day by day learning how to live in a pattern of living fulfillment day by day. Okay, let me know if you have other name considerations. So again, offer them as you can. So self-care essentials for well-being. So this diagram works over and over our conscious healthy aging diagram. So our spiritual health has to be received, you can say, into our hearts first. We need to keep the garden of our heart in order to receive, you can say, the spiritual nature, the true spiritual nature of ourselves to actually be felt in our hearts, which allows for a sensing mentally, for mental health, for things that filter into our consciousness that are sound and wise. And then allowing the current, you can say, from above down, inside out, through our bodies to be felt, so we can play our part, playing our part in fulfillment. So positioning yourself as elders with the younger populations. So these are some thoughts from Robert. So how do we adjust ourselves and the way we see the world to include those that are younger? How do we reach out? Why do we reach out? How do we create an atmosphere that would draw those younger than we are into the conversation? So Robert will help set the stage for our discussions in dyad breakouts. So Robert, you want to share your thoughts further? So before we break out for a few minutes?
Sure. Basically, what I would add to the questions you just saw on your screen is that I know that I've changed immensely in the last 70 years, 70 plus. And I think this is a time of, being in the elder stage of my life is a time to nonetheless consider what has come before. For instance, there have been times when I've had children around me, lots of children around me. There have been times when I was working closely with, let's just say, any one of the somethings, the 20-somethings, the 30-somethings, the 40-somethings, either because I was in that age group or I was actively, involved in some course of work or whatever, where I was involved with these things naturally. Now that's changed. I'm retired, not working that much anymore. And I'm sure for all of you, you're finding that there have been considerable shifts. So what has changed? That's something very individual. Look at that, for yourself. In fact, we was used a lot in these questions that you see before you. How do we reach out? No, put I in there, because we're all going to be so different. We all have different paths to take through this process. And so the point of having some dyads is, I guess dyad means two people, Steve. So I presume you're going to give us each of someone to.
We'll have 5 dyads.
Is to explore this with another person and be very personal about it. That's the point for tonight, at least. This isn't something that's going to be a group effort at first. We may see similarities as we move on, but to begin with, it's very personal. So if we can break into groups, is there some way to do that and yet have those questions?
If you want to take notes, so you can say, like, how do we position ourselves to offer an influence to the younger generations so it can be received? Would that be articulation, you would say, Robert? Yes. I would use different different words. I had to think about it, but no, that would be fine. Yes.
Adjusting ourselves was the word we used before, and it's what's different, and how do we use that to our advantage now? Mm-hmm. Because we're still just as vital as we ever were. I'm quite certain of that.
Yes. Yeah. So the idea with our dyad considerations is to see, how we can offer an influence that could be received by the younger populations. Okay, so I'm going to break us into dyads. Okay, our integrated work. So we talked about acknowledging our agreement we have with conscious healthy aging, discerning and galvanizing our agreement to make a difference with the younger populations as well as really with everyone. So if taking the step to share the Conscious Healthy Integrated Program appeals to you, these are things to consider. Reach out to those you know that are younger and even older. Micro targets. So the folks that may come along, Robert, you might meet someone at Lowe's that's younger that you might strike up a conversation with that seems to be received into your world. So who in your world, young or older, would love to participate? Touching in first about them. So in my dyad with Pamela, we talked about how just taking an interest, or Robert Merriman mentioned taking an interest in those that we're with, and seeing if an invitation could be the thing to extend. So just taking an interest and see if an invitation to engage with an upcoming program might be the thing. It may not be the thing. So sharing more of the details of the program I have in mind. So using your creativity to share as you would, starting today, chatterbox it, write about it, etc. Let's just, as it comes to mind, say, if someone you touch in with and they realize you have a conversation with, and you might want to extend an invitation or just talk about, hey, we're thinking about doing this program to mix the older and younger populations to see how we can just share something that's real and deep and purposeful and lasting. So a program, I'm thinking about starting a 6-week program on May 18th for 6 weeks, Thursdays at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll have a link soon to share the program details. Enrollment plan to begin on May 8th. So the enrollment for the class I plan to open up around May 8th and run through May 16th for the open enrollment. And then the class will run from May 18th to June 22nd. As a member of the CHOP platform, you have access to participate, which I highly encourage as you can. So implementation for the month, make a list of individuals you feel who would like to you'd like to touch in with. Set time to contact the individuals by phone, text, email, letter, like that idea. Schedule to have conversations with them. Have the conversation about them. And if it's the thing, extending an invitation to the Self-Care Essentials for Wellbeing group program, that's the name that's kind of coming to my consciousness, that can apply to all ages. Self-Care Essentials for Wellbeing group program. If interested, share the promotional copy links so they can read more about it and to enroll. So what's around the hill? So those are things I have in mind for this spring, but what's around the hill after the program ends? So following up our thoughts, if we do carry through with this 6-week program, we have a few folks there. We can just reevaluate afterwards to see whether we want to relaunch a platform in late summer for continuing our conscious healthy aging platform, or having an integrated conscious health for every age platform or all ages. So that's what's around the hill. So any thoughts, questions, comments? We can look to conclude our time with that.